All right. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. My name is Ciarra St. Arnold. I am a gold consultant. And today we are going to be going over how to gain clients. 2 weeks ago, I did this based on social media tricks and stuff. And today is kind of going to be more in person and networking events and things like that. So if you have not gotten any clients yet, then hopefully this will help. I know a lot of people said that they just joined today or within the past couple of days. So hopefully this will kind of give you some ideas for whenever you do get started and you are able to kind of, broadcast your business to everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. So the first thing that I have on here is business flyers. So I actually did a training on this a couple weeks ago. I want to say maybe last month or the month before on how to make these. So I made these on Canva, super simple. I just printed it, or I made it with a white background and then printed it on colored paper. I just did the full size piece of paper. It has, my 2 social media handles and my email address. Sorry guys, my dogs are being crazy. Get down. It has my email address, my phone number, and then I have this QR code here. It has my link tree. So all my links to my social medias, all of my links if people want to book stuff themselves so that I can still earn commission on it. So the Archer website that they give us, I also have my Viator link on there. I have my golden tickets link for concert tickets and stuff like that. So even if people don't necessarily want to speak to me to book their trip, they can still scan this and then they can book it on their own and I'm still earning the money from it. So I have a super, super long list of where I post these at. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can pull this list back up. And if you guys want to take notes, you can. But I have a super long list. I printed like 50 of these flyers out and then I took them all around town and stuff like that. I've left them all kinds of places. So one of the best places I could say is the post office. A lot of times they have bulletin boards outside, like the PO boxes and stuff like that. So put it there. That's where a lot of people post business flyers and ads and things like that. So post offices, I also take them to like at the mall or any like retail store where you try on clothes. I've taken them and I've put them on the back of the fitting room door. So even though they may not see it as soon as they walk in, whoever goes in that room is obviously going to close the door. So whenever they do, they have all your information right there, just kind of staring them in the face. And especially right now, I know I've been shopping for vacation clothes and stuff like that. It's the perfect opportunity for people that are ready to go on vacation. They're buying stuff for their vacation, and then maybe you can help them out with something, even if they already have the trip booked. Maybe you can help them book excursions or something like that. Another thing is the back of the door in like bathroom stalls. I know some people might think that's kind of gross, but whenever you're going to the bathroom, you're at least sitting there for however long you are looking exactly at what's in front of you. So I put them up on the back of bathroom stalls, again, at malls, restaurants, pretty much anywhere that you can get to. Other places are public parks. So again, kind of like the post office, a lot of times they have bulletin boards and stuff like that you can hang stuff on as far as business advertisements, or they'll have like sports signups, things like that. I put them on there. And the reason that I do them on the big piece of paper and I do a bright color is because you can put your business card there and that's great. But if you have this big flyer and it's like bright yellow or bright pink, then it stands out and it's bigger. So it catches people's attention a lot quicker than if it's like something like super small, like a business card. So that is one of the reasons I really like business flyers, because they're bigger and I feel like they attract more people. Along with the public parks, you can do Optimist Parks. So I did this. We had several around us because kids are playing sports. Sometimes those sports need to travel. They always have bulletin boards up for like signups for baseball, football, whatever the case is. So go ahead and put your business flyer there too, because people are already going there to see other information. So you might as well add your information for them to see too. If you are someone that goes to the gym, I'm personally not, but people that go to the gym, you can always ask at the front desk if you can hang them up at the gym, in the locker rooms of the gym, where people are changing clothes, stuff like that. That's always a great spot for them. People are getting ready for their summer beach body or whatever it is. They want to have a vacation to show it off. So I always like to put them there. Again, local restaurants and breweries or wineries, whatever you have close to you, I hung them up. All the ones around me have a spot specifically for other businesses to post, but if they don't have that, then guys, my dogs, Axel, get down. These dogs, y'all, they don't let me do anything. So anyways, like I was saying, all the ones around me have somewhere for you to post your business flyers and things like that. But if they don't, just ask. A lot of times they'll let you put them up at the bar. You can hang them behind the bar, things like that. Or just on the door whenever you walk in, stuff like that. Some businesses won't let you, but I haven't had any problems so far. So just ask if you don't see anywhere that's specific for business ads and things like that. Another place is the library. So a lot of times they have places that you can put up flyers. Some of the libraries that I have found near me do not allow you to post things that are for profit. So since this is a business, they wouldn't let me hang up like a business flyer, but you can always leave it with the people working at the library. They can put it behind the counter where not a lot of people will see it, but at least the people working there will. Again, you can hang these up in their bathrooms. You can put them in books at the library, whatever, feels the best for you, whatever's most comfortable for you. If you don't want to do that, then that's fine too, but always ask, especially at libraries, because a lot of times they are not for profit. So just make sure that you're allowed to do it so that you don't put it up and waste it and then they just end up taking it down. Another place is the tanning salon. So again, on the back of the doors, at the front desk, a lot of times they have the bulletin boards because they want to support small businesses as well. So tanning salons, like hair salons, nail salons, things like that, I always leave something with the people that are giving me services, and hopefully that other people that are coming in there will use my service as well. Another place is the dry cleaner, same thing. All of these places pretty much have bulletin boards that you can hang these on. No questions asked. They just let you put it up. They have the stuff to hang it up for you, so you don't have to, really do a lot of work other than create the flyer. So I leave it any place like that, like I said, is providing a service to me. I want to put it out there, the service that I provide to other people. For those of you that are still working a full-time job, I know when I started this, I was just doing this part-time. So I put a flyer in the break room at my full-time job, or even just on the door, depending on, where you work. I had my husband take one as well, and he put it up on the door of his break room. So that was, a whole other audience that I would have never met if it wasn't for him taking it. For those of you that have kids, you can always send it to school with your kids, either just for the teacher, or you can even put a note on there to, have them put it in the break room or the library or wherever all the teachers are congregating to have lunch or, do meetings or whatever it is, because teachers have the whole summer off. They probably want to take a vacation too. Those are the perfect opportunity because that they have the time to go on vacation. As I mentioned, I sent one with my husband to his job. I also sent them with my parents to church and to their job. My dad owns his own business, so he hung one up for me. Just anybody that you can get to take it and expand it to an audience that you would never meet otherwise is always a great idea. So significant others, friends, parents, your close family, whoever it is that's going other places that have people you don't know who they are. I also like to put them in elevators, and this kind of goes back to what I said before. When you get in the elevator, you are on there until you get to the floor that you need to be on. So a lot of people obviously are going to be on their phones, things like that. But if you have a bright colored flyer, somebody is going to look at it and they don't have really anything else to do other than look at it until they get where they're going. So they may save your information for later, even if they don't necessarily need it right now. Another thing is colleges. So elevators at colleges, I do that a lot. And they also have a lot of bulletin boards for events that are happening, things like that. So you can always put your information there. College kids love to go on vacation too. So a spring break is a perfect opportunity. Again, professors in the summer usually aren't working unless they do like an online class or something. They have plenty of time to go on vacation. So that is a huge, huge audience that you don't want to miss. Again, like I said, churches. So I personally don't go to like an in-person church, but my parents do. So they took one and hung it up on the bulletin board at their church. You can always just set them in the pews where people are sitting. Whatever the case may be, whatever you feel comfortable doing, that is, again, a whole audience of people that are going on vacation. And a lot of times people at your church, you probably already know who they are. They probably already know what you do. But if you're putting something in their face, it's super bright colored, it's got all your information on it, it's kind of like a push to get them to reach out to you. Another thing is you can't put things in people's mailboxes, but you can take things and, tape it to their door or put it in their screen door. Guys, my dogs, I am so sorry. Axel, get down. So maybe tape it to their door. I know we had like a screen door, so people would open the screen door and put it inside there so it wouldn't fall, but it wouldn't get rained on or anything like that. You can also you can tape them to the mailbox. Like I said, you obviously can't put it in the mailbox because that is very illegal, but you can always tape it to their mailbox or put it on their car or something like that, put it on their front porch, somewhere that they'll see it when they get home. And going back to the cars, if you go to like Walmart or you go to a local restaurant or something like that, the grocery store, you can always put the flyers in like under people's windshield wipers, kind of like they do with a parking ticket. So it kind of scares people, but then they look at it and they're like, oh, let's plan a vacation. Yeah, let's do that. Sounds like a great idea. So that is another way to reach a huge audience, putting it in cars in the parking lots. So the other thing that I do, this is similar to the business flyers. Obviously, we all have business cards, things like that. And you can put business cards a lot of places just like you can flyers, but some of the places that I put business cards are a little too small of an area for a flyer. So I know people talk about this all the time, but I go to like TJ Maxx, I go to Walmart, department stores that sell luggage and purses, and I'll put them in luggage. I won't put it in every single one. I'll take maybe 5 to 10 and do that. And then you can also put them in purses. So women are also always buying, luggage, purses, things like that. And they want to go on vacation. So put your information in there so that whenever they go in and they're taking all the stuffing and things like that, or they go to pack for their next vacation, they see your information right there. Super easy to get in touch with you, everything like that. So those are one of the biggest places I would say that I put my business cards. Other places that I'll put them in stores is like near the swimsuits or the towels, inside beach bags, whatever that looks like as far as like the vacation section. I know there's always a huge section during the summer with bathing suits and goggles and everything you need for the beach. So putting them there, because people that are buying that stuff are most likely going on vacation to somewhere like the beach, and they may, like I said before, even if they've already booked their trip, you can always book excursions for them. So, and then later on they may come back to you for a trip in the future. So it's not always about getting the biggest trip you can find, but if you can help them book certain small things like an outing or an excursion, then they kind of builds that relationship for you, and then they'll come back to you in the future. So I always think of it like that too. Even if it's not like an immediate booking, it may be something down the line. Another place is if you have a golf course near you. All the golf carts that I have ever seen have the thing that holds the scorecard. So even if you're not a golfer, you can always go there and pass them out to people. Those people usually have a lot of money if they're playing golf. I used to work at a golf course. So all the people I met had a lot of money. They were going on vacation all the time. So that is the perfect opportunity to pass your information out to people that are going to be going on trips anyway. And then if you do play golf, you can always leave it where you do the scorecard. People will see your business card, whenever they have the golf cart after you. So hotel room drawers is another one, or just around your hotel room in general. I was in Chicago this past weekend, and I put one on the little nightstand table next to the bed with the phone and all the information about the internet and stuff like that. So people are definitely going to be looking at that because it has information about the hotel, and while they're flipping through, then they also can find your information. And again, they're already on a trip, but that doesn't mean that they won't reach out to you to plan one for them in the future. As I mentioned before, I always leave something with like my nail tech, my hair stylist, everything like that. So you can also leave business cards there, as well as hanging up the flyer. Because sometimes people want stuff to take home with them. Even if they do see the flyer, they want something to take with them for a later date. So I always leave both at those kind of places, just because, that reaches more people. They're more likely to remember it if they can take something with them after talking to whoever is providing the service about you. So I use that. I also leave them at restaurants. So anytime I pay for a meal at a restaurant, I hand them, once you sign the receipt, I hand them that back, as well as a business card. So everybody that I come in contact with, that's my waitress or waiter or whatever it is, gets my business card. I also will leave them sometimes, the little holders that you put like salt and pepper and the sugar and stuff in. I'll put a business card or two in there so that the people sitting at the table after me come across them. I also leave them at the bank, like near the deposit slips and stuff, or at the pin pad where you go up to talk to the teller. I'll leave them there. I don't ever leave like a gigantic stack. I'll leave maybe 2 or 3. One, because I don't want to waste all my business cards in one place. And 2, if you have a huge stack, then somebody's probably going to see it and they're going to be like, what in the world is this? So I ordered 1,000 business cards, but I only leave 2 or 3 in every place that I go. So Again, books at the library, you can always put your business card in books at the library, especially if there's like travel books or travel magazines or something like that. That's always a great place to put them because people are already interested in travel. So I do that. I also leave them at the doctor's office. So either at the counter or in magazines that they have sitting out for people that are waiting, whatever it is, I always leave a couple at the doctor's office. And if you feel comfortable, you can always leave one with your doctor. I've done that before because I've been going to the same doctor my whole life. So she knows a lot about me. I know a lot about her. So I always gave her my business card and kind of gave her a couple extra so that she could pass them out to the other people that she works with. Whenever you check out at grocery stores or clothing stores or whatever else, I know, like I said, I leave them with my receipt at dinner, but you don't necessarily leave anything when you shop at the grocery store or something like that. So I always leave it with the cashier, and then I'll put some up next to like the debit card reader or something like that. So again, the people that come in behind you will see your information as well. Any kind of tip jar. So if you go to like Starbucks, they usually have a tip jar outside. The ice cream shops a lot of times have them, or like musicians that like play in the street. Like I said, I was just in Chicago, so there was people playing all kinds of stuff in the street, playing guitar, all that good stuff, and they would have their guitar cases open, obviously for tips. So if you are leaving those people a tip, you can always leave money and your business card at the same time, and then that is another group of people that will see it. So I also leave them at the gas pump. So whenever I go to pump gas, I usually have tape with me. This is obviously how I hang up the flyers and stuff like that too. I keep tape with me so I don't have to worry about it. But I would tape a business card up to like the screen or right next to the screen or even next to the actual like gas nozzle. And then people, again, if they're standing there pumping gas, they have to do it until it's done or until they're finished filling up their tank. So they need something to look at. So I always put it up there. And then the last place that I say that I leave my business cards is whenever I travel, whenever I fly specifically, I will leave them at the airport counter. So if I have to check in, I'll leave a couple at the counter. I always leave one in the back of the seat, like the little mesh seat that has, all the information about the plane that you're flying on, the safety instructions, all that good stuff. I'll leave a business card in there. And then if you're sitting next to somebody on a plane, strike up a conversation with them, ask them where they're going, where they're headed to, what they plan on doing while they're there, all that good stuff. Strike up a conversation and then be like, next time you're going on a trip, I'm a travel agent, so here's my information. I would love to help you book your next trip. So I always leave it because, again, those people are already traveling. They're most likely going to travel again. So I always leave it at the airport counters and anywhere that is, travel related, like a plane, or if you take a subway or a train or something like that, you can always leave them there as well. The next thing that I have is I had this made on Etsy. So I have a car decal on the back of my car. It has my logo and then it has my Facebook and Instagram handles as well as my phone number so that anybody that is driving behind me can see my information and reach out to me if they're interested in learning more about what I do, if they're interested in booking a trip or something like that. So I have that on the back, and then I also have one on each side. So we just moved across country and I had them all the way across country. And I actually had a lady at a gas station the other week. She asked me, she said, "What is that?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm a travel agent. It's my business." And she said, "Oh, those are really outdated." And I was like, "Okay." So then we kind of had a conversation about, why people should still use travel agents and stuff like that. And then she had my information from what was on my car. So I do that. And that obviously is going to reach everybody that you drive past or that drives behind you or something like that. So a huge audience right there. Another thing I have is I have a travel agent t-shirt. So it has my logo on it. It's like a bleached t-shirt. My mother-in-law actually got it for me. So I wear that out in public. I especially wear it when I'm traveling. Whenever I fly or anything like that, I always make sure I wear it so that people can ask me, what is that? Stuff like that. And then kind of strike up that conversation about what I do, what my job is, how I can help them, everything like that. So that's a good conversation starter. I know some of the vendors you can order t-shirts through them that kind of say, I know there's one with Carnival, it says something about travel agents rock or something like that. That's always a good conversation starter because there are some people that are like, what do you do? What is that t-shirt about? Stuff like that. So that is always a great conversation starter and a way to get people to know what you're doing. The next thing I'm going to go over is networking. So either networking events, whether they're in person or online. And I actually did a training on this last week, I think it was, all about how to, navigate networking events and make sure that you are getting your point across, making sure that people are resonating with what you have to say, and kind of making sure that you sell yourself in a way that people will actually reach out to you. So one of the ways that I have done this, especially since we moved, is I reached out to a lot of wedding vendors. So I actually just got married this past October, and I reached out to all of my personal wedding vendors as well. But since we moved, I have reached out to the wedding vendors in our new area, and I've said, if you have any couples that are looking for a honeymoon booked, I would love to be on your preferred vendors list as somebody that can help them. Or if they do destination weddings, you can always try to get on that list as well. And plan the group travel for the huge destination wedding, whether it's in the country or out of the country. That is a great commission check and a great way to get a lot of other repeat clients. So all the people that you book the room for at the wedding may come back to you for their family vacation later. So that is a great way to, broaden your clientele and reach a lot of people with just, one trip, for example, the destination wedding. So the other thing is the in-person networking events. So like I mentioned, I haven't done a ton of in-person events just because of COVID. A lot of them went online and have not went back in person. But if you can find in-person networking events, make sure you go to those. And my suggestion for this, I know that everybody says, take your business cards, but I actually created a brochure on Canva. So I just used a template about, what I do. I'm actually planning a group retreat. So I made a whole brochure about that. And that is what I take to these events, because everybody is handing out business cards and you want to stand out from everybody else that's there. So yes, business cards are convenient because they're small and they just fit in your wallet. But with that being said, if they're just sliding it into their wallet, they're probably not looking at it again. If you give them a trifold brochure, it's a little bit bigger and they have to find somewhere to put it, somewhere to keep it, and they're more likely to look at it. And again, everybody else is handing out business cards. So that'll kind of make you stand out, and they'll have a handful of little tiny business cards. And then they've got this one big brochure, and it's like, okay, let me look at that one first. Or at least that's how my brain works. The bigger and brighter it is, the more likely I am to look at it. So I always take brochures. Obviously they do cost a little bit more to print and stuff like that, because they are bigger and have more ink and all that good stuff. But I definitely think that it's worth it, because I've had more people call me and reach out to me for a trip that way than I have passing out business cards. Another thing, obviously, networking events online. So I do pretty much every networking event I do is online. And I will say, don't just go to those and then never go back. Make yourself a regular at these events, because if you only go once, yes, the people there might remember who you are. They might connect with you on LinkedIn that day. But if you continue to go back and tell people what you do over and over and over again, they're more likely to remember you, and they're more likely to recommend you to other people. And I went into that in a lot of detail on my networking events training that I did last week. But that's just kind of the gist of it. That's my main piece of advice when you're going to these online events. Don't just be a one and done and not go back. Obviously, there's some that aren't going to be for you, and that's okay. But if it's one that you really, like the people that were on it, you really related to them, and even if they have services that you think you may want to use in the future, continue to go back to those, build those relationships with those people, because the more they know you and the more they know about what you do, the more likely they are to recommend you to other people, and the more likely they are to use you for themselves. So I love networking events. I've met a lot of cool people that have been able to help me. And then in turn, that kind of creates clients for me as well. Another thing that I have done is I sent letters to like the local churches and schools. So I pretty much just reached out to them and let them know, hey, this is what I do. This is how I can help. This is like with the churches, you can always offer to give a percentage back to their church, and even with schools you can do that. So I did that, and then I had a couple people reach out to me, whether it's for a personal trip or whether it's a group retreat with their church, whatever it is. Just let them know, hey, I can book this for you. I know you have a lot of people at your church or at your school or whatever it is, and I know it can be super stressful, so let me take all of the work out of it for you and let me do it, so that you guys can focus on, if it's schools, you guys can focus on teaching the kids, or watching out for the kids, making sure you have everybody accounted for. You don't have to worry about where you're headed to next or anything like that, because it's all already planned for you. Another thing you can do this for is businesses. So Some businesses will do like employee retreats or like a employee appreciation days or whatever it is. You can always reach out to them to book the trips for their employees. I actually had a girl reach out to me. She works for a marketing company and they're doing a giveaway. They're having like a festival and doing a giveaway, and they want one of the prizes to be a trip. So I'm helping them plan that. They don't know exactly where they want to go. So we're kind of walking through, what's a good option, when is a good time to do it, and then trying to figure out, what works with their budget and things like that. So that business is, a prime example of they're trying to give back to the people that attend their events or that work for them, or, just people that are coming around. They want to have an incentive for people to work there and stuff like that. So that is a great way to get in and get a trip booked. And then you can also, obviously, the people that end up going on the trip, those can be future clients as well as people that work in that business. Another thing, whenever you're on vacation, so like I mentioned, every time I travel, I leave business cards and things like that. So you are being really loud. So whenever you're on vacation or a cruise or a flight, whatever it is, ask the people around you, who booked your trip for you? How did you decide to come here? Ask them, not personal questions about themselves, but about their trip and how they came to their decision to go to a specific hotel or fly on a specific airline or whatever it is. Ask them who booked it for them, and then give them your information. Let them know that you're a travel agent and you'd love to help them book something in the future. Another thing I like to do is ask people about their experiences, because not only does that help you start a conversation with them, but it also can help you with your future clients. Figuring out what people do and don't like about certain hotels or airlines or activities, things like that. It can help you be a better agent to your future clients, because you know what to recommend and what to stay away from and things like that. And then a lot of times if people tell you that they had a bad experience, that's kind of one of those things you can kind of go in and be like, oh, well, if you would have used me, I could have helped you with this. So if somebody's complaining about a lot of flights getting canceled and things like that, if they weren't able to get their money back or whatever the case is, you can kind of go in and say, well, I have access to all the airlines and I'm able to get that stuff fixed for you. You wouldn't have had to sit on hold for hours or stand in the line at the ticket counter or whatever it is. So that's kind of a way, if people know what's in it for them, then they're more likely to use your service and more likely to recommend you to other people. So that's really all that it's about. Another thing I do whenever I'm on vacation is kind of share my experience with them, or ask them other places that they've been to that they enjoyed, even if it's not where they are right now, and then kind of conversate with them about that, so that you can, again, recommend other things to them for in the future. Say, if you liked this place, I think you would really like this place as well. I would really love to help you book that. Just things like that, getting people to have a conversation with you about what they like, what they don't, places they've enjoyed, places that they would recommend, especially for those of you that are new agents. If you're not super familiar with a lot of places, ask people that have been there. And it doesn't necessarily have to be another agent. Just ask people that have been there, read reviews on things, figure out what people like about places and what they don't, what you want to stay away from, what people really like, so that you can recommend that to your clients. And then it kind of gives you more of an expertise, and you kind of know what you're talking about whenever you do get that first client, so you can make better recommendations for them, and then they're more likely to enjoy their trip. Another place is recently engaged couples. So I always congratulate them, things like that. And then I always kind of throw in like a little self promo and say, congratulations on your engagement. I'm so happy for you guys. Whenever you guys are ready to plan your honeymoon, I would love to take that stress off of you, so that you can just enjoy, being engaged. And then whenever you're on your trip, you can enjoy being newlyweds. And a lot of times people are like, okay, that's one thing that they can check off the list, because planning a wedding is no joke. And there are 1,000 things you have to do, 1,000 things you have to spend money on. So if you go ahead and put out there that you can save them time on something, then they're more likely to reach out to you, because that's one more thing that they don't have to worry about, doing themselves, because everything else they're probably trying to figure out, and it's very stressful and very chaotic. So just take something off their plate. And that is a great way to gain clients. And then I know in the original webinar, whenever you guys were first joining, wedding travel is a huge, huge market. So not only can you book their honeymoon, you can book bachelor and bachelorette parties. Again, if they're having a destination wedding, or they're going somewhere, that's several hours away from where they call home to have their wedding, you can always book hotels for them there. Book their trips for them, book their trips for their family that's coming in. That is a huge market and a huge, huge way to gain multiple clients in one kind of, I guess, trip, I would say. You can gain multiple clients for the future just from that one couple getting married. Another thing is people that are pregnant or expecting to have children soon. A lot of people like to go on what we call baby moons. So you can always reach out and, say, I'm sure pregnancy has been crazy and you need to relax before the baby gets here. So let's plan a trip for you and your significant other, or even if they just want to go by themselves, just so that they can relax and, get ready to have a baby and bring a new baby into their world, and kind of before their whole world is turned upside down before they have their kid, just so that they can relax and take one last trip, by themselves. Another thing is people that have birthdays or anniversaries coming up. So pretty much everybody has their birthday on Facebook. A lot of people have their anniversaries. You can kind of keep up with that and see who has something coming up in the future. A lot of times people will ask for recommendations. I know I love to go on vacation whenever my birthday comes around. So that is a great way. And then a lot of times people aren't going to go on a birthday trip by themselves. They might, but most likely not. So they'll have friends that are going. And the bigger the group, obviously, the more clients you can reach and the more money that you can make. So those are always great options. Upcoming graduates are also really awesome. So even if they're not graduated yet, I know that everybody pretty much just graduated, but spring break is a big deal for people in college, as well as graduation trips. So people want to celebrate their accomplishments, whether it be, their undergraduate or graduate, whatever it is. A lot of times they want to do that. They want to celebrate with their family and their friends. So that is another big group of people that you can reach. A lot of times they want to go out of the country. They don't want to do just some small thing. Like, it's a big accomplishment for people to graduate college or even just graduate high school. So people want to go somewhere to celebrate that. And then you can always add in little perks and stuff like that to make it even more special for them. Another thing that I've recently started doing on LinkedIn is search for people that are related to what you do, not necessarily other travel agents, but you can literally search traveler on LinkedIn and it will pull up all kinds of people that have that in their bio, that is a big significant part of their life. So you can always connect with them, reach out to them, and just start a conversation. I wouldn't say message them and say, hey, I'm a travel agent, let me book your next trip. It's all about networking and creating connections first before you try to sell them what you have to offer, or before you try to share what service that you offer. So a lot of times I will message people that are either, for me, I do a lot of, well, I don't yet, but I want to start doing a lot of destination weddings. So I have looked for wedding planners, specifically destination wedding planners. Other things are like day of coordinators, or just people that own wedding venues, things like that. Just try to get your name on their list of preferred vendors that they share with the people that are interested in using their venue, because I know that was super helpful for me. Whenever I got married, they sent us a whole list of DJs in the area, of caterers in the area, all that good stuff. So if you can get your name on that list and be recognized by that venue, then that couple is more likely to use you. And then the last thing that I'll go over today's going to be kind of a short one, but the last one is going to be vendor shows. So I know a lot of people don't want to, pay for the tent or whatever it is, but you can usually find things like the farmers market. Those either don't cost anything or they cost very, very small amounts to actually put up a booth at those. So I know several agents that do that and they've had, great success with that. So you can always just get a table, a tent, and set up some brochures. We get all kinds of marketing materials for free. There are videos all over YouTube about how to order them, things like that. I know Disney does. I know you can get them from Pleasant Holidays. FunJet, I think, has some for like the Caribbean and Mexico and all these different places. The cruise lines have them. Anywhere you look, you can pretty much get free marketing materials. You don't have to pay for shipping or anything like that. Of course, you have to have somewhere to store them, but you can take those, you can set them out on the table, and you can always put a business card in the brochure or in the little booklet that they give to pass out to people, so that people are interested in Disney, then they can contact you. They have the whole pamphlet of Disney ideas and things that they can do there. And then your business card is there, or your name or whatever is on that same little piece of paper or the same brochure, so that they can reach out to you when they're ready for their Disney trip or to the Caribbean or whatever the case may be. Disney's just the easiest to come up with, because I know they have all kinds of marketing materials. So you can set up raffles and things, and that is a great way to get people to give you their information as far as like their email. You can always put out little slips of paper and have a raffle. If you're not a part of the incentive voucher group on Facebook with Marnie, I highly suggest that. I use it all the time for raffles and to get people to follow my page. I always do pretty much what I'll do on like Instagram and stuff like that is I'll post, these are the rules. at the end of the month, I'll do a drawing, and whoever is picked will get, you know, a 3-night or a 3-night hotel stay. They have all kinds of different ones from, I think there's like gift cards to restaurants and like wine subscriptions all the way to like a 7-night stay in Mexico. So join that group if you are not already. There is a small fee to like use it, but it's super worth it. So I would definitely recommend doing that. And then if you use them at the vendor shows, that's how you can get everybody's email address. If you have a newsletter or something like that, or even if you just want to follow up with them after, you already have their information to do that. So that is a great way, again, to meet a lot of people. And then it's another great way to meet a lot of other business owners. So if you're at a vendor show, pretty much everybody there is going to be a small business owner as well. So always connect with those people, you know, see what they do, see what type of service they offer or what kind of product they sell, see if it's something that you're interested in, and you can always collaborate and say, you know, well, we could team up and do this. Like I said, with the wedding planners, a lot of times if you go to like bridal expos, there will be wedding planners all over the place. So giving them your information so that you guys can work together in the future for a couple or a wedding or whatever it may be. That is just another great way to network and get your name out there to all kinds of other business owners that will eventually pass your information on to their clients as well. So that is pretty much what I had for today as far as in-person stuff and flyers and brochures and all that good stuff. I know this one was a little bit shorter than my one last week. But does anybody have any questions or comments or anything like that? Have you had any business owners complain when they found your flyers after the fact, like in suitcases, etc.? No, I haven't. Like I said, I just leave them, and then I usually am either not back or it's already sold or whatever. Most business owners probably aren't going through every single suitcase to see if somebody's putting business cards in them. So as far as like leaving them on the counter, I've never had anybody that's like say anything to me or reach out to me saying, you know, hey, don't do this again. That's not to say they didn't go behind me and take it down. But I haven't had anybody reach out to me in regards to that. So not that I know of. But like I said, a lot of times I like to ask first before I hang stuff up so that I don't run into that issue of them tearing it down or them, you know, telling people, hey, don't use this person or whatever it may be. How do you get a QR code where everything is linked to the one QR code? So I have a link tree. If you just Google link tree, it's super easy. You just pretty much design it yourself and put in the link and then a name for the link, and it'll pull it up. Let me see if I can actually pull it up and show you guys what mine looks like. Let's see. But you can like customize the URL and everything like that. So it'll pull it up and show you like all the different links. Let's see. Let me share my screen. And let's see if it will load. Oh, that's not it. So this is what mine looks like. And when it shows up on a cell phone, it's a little bit different, but it has my website. It has my group treat that I'm planning. Group retreat. Gosh, I can't talk today. It also has my inquiry form and booking excursion. So this is my Viator link. The concert and shows sports tickets, that's my golden tickets link. Book a trip, that's my Evo website that they provide to you. And then I have this become a travel agent because I do also do the team building side. So I have a link to my Calendly if they want to sign up for a webinar. And then I have all of my social medias linked up here as well as my email address. If you just search Linktree, then it should pull it up and you can create it. It was super easy for me to do. They have all kinds of templates. You just have to fill out the information. And then whenever I did it on Canva, so basically I just copy and pasted this Linktree website. And whenever you're on Canva, you go to elements and then you can just type in QR code and it'll bring up what you need to do. And when you hit use, it'll have you type in the web address and then you can just put it on your flyer. So that's how I did that. Super easy. I love Linktree because it gives you all kinds of different options and you can put all of your information in one spot. So that is why I love it. It's easy to just send people and when people click on my website, I don't have, just my website in the bio. I have links to every single other thing that they can use so that they don't have to go searching around my website for everything. Even though I think my website is pretty easy to use, some people, don't want to have to click around to find stuff. So it's just easier to put it all in one place. So I hope that was helpful. Does anybody else have any other questions, comments, anything like that? If not, then I'm going to stop recording And